Hello, class. We are back on a Tuesday. This is now attempt number 4 to record. Lesson has been learned, which I will always share the lessons. Always double check the work that you're going to post up for any kind of technical glitches. And of course, for some reason, my QuickTime was defaulted to not include the internal microphone in screen recording. Because, recording your screen is always very entertaining in the old silent movie format. Just makes complete sense. Yay, Apple. Anyway, we're here and we're going to be building a quiz today. For today's class, it's a very seemingly difficult, time-consuming task, but it's well worth it, is that you're going to upload the same quiz in 3 different ways. Again, we're trying to learn how to utilize and use the different features of the Blackboard Learning Management System. So it's the same quiz for everything, okay? So quick point of work here is that look how many of you, all of you, so beautifully have come in, created, and uploaded and everything. So please take a minute to go review all your classmates' videos and handouts and everything that they've posted. It's absolutely exceptional. You will see some amazing handouts. You'll see some awesome videos, and it's just fun to get to meet you guys. I'm sure you all know each other, although I don't know. It's an online masters, so maybe not. But anyway, get to know your neighbor, as they say. Go ahead and go through and peruse and see what others are doing, especially as just like 1 or 2 of you did the same concept. Everybody else did something different, so go see what the others did, but more also see what the person who had your concept did or your kind of subject material did. Anyway, enough about that. So, okay, what I would like you to do is go inside your folder name and create a new folder. And once you've done that, label that folder Quiz 1, okay? So we're just going to call it generic Quiz 1. Quiz is easy because a homework assignment can be a lot of different aspects and blah, blah, blah. Maybe 3 pages of different homework assignments over the course of 3 classes, might have all the information. So the quiz today is the consolidation of what you would teach over those 2 or 3 classes. So make sure to make the quiz appropriate to have variety and other kinds of match multiple choice, maybe fill in the blanks, so on and so forth, the different formats, okay? So once you're in, we're going to use a generic here of just week 11 build. You're going to go ahead and we've made we'll say that this is quiz 1. Okay, sorry I didn't name it quiz 1. Figured by the 4th time I probably should have. I'm getting tired of saying week 11 build, but anyway, we've done build content. You've played around with these features and all this fun. We're going to move over here to assessments. Now, the reason it's called assessments is because it's integrated into Gradebook, and that way you can divide and create, different percentages. Maybe this quiz is worth more than a different quiz. You can also deal with whether this is averaged together for them to see and other things. So that's why it's called, I believe, is why it's called assessments, okay? And now the first 3, test, survey, and assignment, are the 3 that we're going to be doing for this one. You're going to create 1 of each, okay? You're going to create 1 test, 1 survey, 1 assignment, again, of the same pieces of information from your quiz build. Now, I must reiterate here, please do not handwrite the quiz. Create it in a PDF program such as Adobe, Pages, Microsoft Word, any of those kind of things that you're used to using, all right? Now, these 4 bottoms, Self-Peer, down all the way to McGraw-Hill, not the country all-star, but these are, I believe, add-ons to Blackboard, and they're subscription services that I believe the institution pays for or is included in the generic build. Much of all of them have nothing to do with music or anything music related, but they're fun to play. They're fun to look through, and you go ahead and play with those on your own time. So now, starting out, we're going to do assignment number 1, and we're going to just call this quiz 1. In here, instructions, you'll just input the instructions for the quiz. Please use as though it would be done. Browse your computer and go ahead, and I'll use quiz 1 for my non-majors class. Putting quiz 1 there, put the due date, I don't know, generically Friday by end of day, just so you get used to using the due date. Points possible, I'm just going to use 10 because I say a minimum of 10 questions, so 1 point apiece for this example video. But what I'd like to see is that you guys have multi-tiered point questions. You start out with some simple ones that are worth 1 point, some harder ones maybe worth 2, and some super hard question worth 3 points, I don't know. But you'll created on there. Okay, now this add rubric thing, you can create one. There are none in this class, in the shell. So if you want to create a rubric, go ahead, but we'll be discussing rubrics in gradebooks next week. Submission detail, the next thing. Now this one's pretty straightforward. Individual submission, group group submission, or portfolio submission. I'm done clicking on stuff. Now, individual submissions mostly what we're going to be using for an online class. A group submission would mean a group submission would mean multi-party members of the class, or a portfolio submission seems to be that a student will keep building upon, okay? Now, number of attempts right there is a tricky one in Blackboard. A single attempt is problematic for the learning management system. If a student has a 2-page quiz, for instance, and they upload 1 page, aka they don't combine it into a single document, then the attempt will be met and they'll be unable to upload other pages. I've had that happen. More than I care to understand. Multiple attempts is you can just select how many you want, and I always go with unlimited attempts because it just allows for unlimited amount of submissions. And you may be concerned that gets hard to keep track of, but very simply done with score attempts using. And last graded attempt is the default. You can, which is typically what I use, that way I don't have to keep track of what version it's on, it just puts the last grade up. You can do highest grade, first graded attempt if they're not going to be able to get points back, or if they're going to get points back but they're not direct 1-to-1 points, you can average the two together with, or the 2 or 3 attempts done with this one. Okay, plagiarism tool. I would love for it to work, but it doesn't really have anything to do with our music concepts, such as the rudiments of music theory. But go ahead. Okay, grading options. Now this is something, if you have a student teacher, a TA, or any kind of other professor, you would want to probably enable delegated grading. You select yourself and the other person that you'd want to use. Now you are all been instructor access given here, so that's why you all come up here. And then finally is the display of grades. This always comes up as none, but I like to put it as letter, but you have percentage and other things. Same menus here, okay? And then you can choose to show or not the student thing. Don't forget to make it available immediately, although it doesn't matter, and then submit. Okay, so now this will go ahead and upload quiz 1, and there you can see it. All right, it comes up as a nice thing. That is the instructions, and then to open it, you just click on it, and voila! There are all of the quiz 1s for this one. All right, and you can also, I think, even you download it from that page. Anyway, so the remainder of the homework tonight is going to have the other 2 of these. Okay, so we have survey and test. Now, survey is interesting because I've already created one, but we'll do it again because this is the now going. So we'll call it quiz 1, and then description. This is not the instructions. Do not get confused. This is the description. This quiz will cover ... and then instructions, do well, please, will be what the student sees. All right, and then we just go ahead and hit submit on that, and there it is. Now comes the tricky part here. Now you would say, oh, okay, well, where do I put the questions? Now you can either create a question, which has a lot of options here, or you can find a question, which is more problematic, or you can upload a question. Okay, and so uploading a question, you're probably going to want to break it into individual ones because the answers are harder that way. So where is quiz 1? There we are, and then we would just select and boom, submit. And then this is what I wanted to show you. Now this is somewhat of a new problem in Blackboard since they've upgraded it. PDFs are no longer able to be uploaded. You have to convert anything for a survey style quiz or homework assignment as a TXT file. So again, a .txt extension, and I believe you can easily convert that in Microsoft Word, Pages, any of those Adobe style programs to a .txt program. Or if you're having trouble with it, I know that there's file converters online for free, and you just type in file converter from, I don't know, PDF to TXT, and it'll give you some programs, so you can find it that way. But this unfortunately won't let me do it because I don't deal with TXT, but please make sure that you do and get the proper conversion. All right, so once you've done all of that, you just hit OK, and then you hit select selected quiz 1, survey options. And now here's the important part, okay? So we get here in survey descriptions to students before they begin the blanks. I always say yes, all right? And show instructions to student, I say yes. For some reason, it's not generically clicked. Whether you want it to open to a new window or not is up to you. And then always make available and then add a new announcement, which is what you guys get, and it'll send. And then if there's any kind of multiple attempts allowed on your quiz, forced completion just means that they have to be done in one sitting. They can't come back to it over 3-4 days. I like to finish that one. And then here's the coolest part, set timer. So if you don't want the students to have 48 hours to do something and you think the quiz should only be 20 minutes, make it a 20-minute fine. And then after that, the time submits, as it says here, this will just auto-submit the work, okay? Display, and then this is also somewhat of a new feature. I don't recommend doing that because it doesn't work, all right? Now, the survey has to be made available to everybody. You guys are teachers, so you're not in there. Go ahead and select everybody, or for instance here, would just be Nick Lima, the actual graduated student. And then the due date, which is, as you guys remember, is Friday the 19th. And like I said, end of day is fine. Noon is typical. And then this is don't allow students to start the survey if the due date has passed. So if it doesn't leave the view window, they can't just go do it at any time and be like, well, okay. All right, sure, feedback. I pretty much, you'll fill all that out. And then survey presentation, you can do it all at once, one at a time. Prohibit backtracking or randomized questions. You really have any choices here, okay? And then you just go ahead and hit submit, and it should come up in our content window, and sure enough, there it is, all right? And the last thing that we would have to do would be a test format. Now, this seems like ideal for a midterm or a final, anything like that. I'm not so sure about this feature yet, but as you can see, I've already done it, but we'll do it all together again. So same here is quiz 1, description, again, not the instructions, all right? And then the instructions right here. Go ahead and hit submit in the lower corner and you see it there. And much like the other format, you have the same 3 features here, okay? All right, class, in effort to keep it short, oh, and you did submit, sorry. Test options, the same kind of options as the other one. So we have a lot of the same stuff here, and I'm sure it'll give me an error or not, and there it is. All right, so this is the survey style, and this is the test style. All 3 formats you'll be responsible for uploading, breaking the quizzes apart, putting them in their appropriate windows, and especially in survey, if you have multiple choice questions, make sure to enter and create an actual multiple choice. It's going to ask you for the right answers and the other wrong answers to put in there, and you have to select it, and you have to create the answer key in itself, because I think it has a feature for that. Anyway, I can't give you all the answers for today's work, but I can yet start you down the path, period. On that note, I will say this about the last video. It says on average 6 minutes of it were viewed, so I'm going to try to keep these videos shorter. I understand that the longer the video, the harder it is to to get through, especially with your busy schedules. So again, as these videos are coming undone and released now for the remainder of the semester, I will do my best to keep them short. All right, everybody, I'll sign off here, but I appreciate all the hard work thus far, and I look